Pop culture. X. Pop culture. X. Today we're talking about Straight Outta Compton. Straight.
Out of.
Not gay, Robert. It's Straight Outta Compton.
It's Straight Outta Compton, not Gay Outta Compton.
It's coming to theaters tomorrow. Okay, so spoiler alert, because I'm going to be giving you some plot points in the movie.
This whole episode's gonna be a spoiler alert.
From the moment the movie starts and the Universal logo comes in, no music, it's just cop sirens. It sets the tone. They were focusing on the Straight Outta Compton album and its creation and the swirl that went around with NWA and NWA's breakup and their catapult into singular careers. Just meet EazyE. He's in the middle of a drug deal. He's a drug dealer before they form their group. And we meet Dr. Dre, and he's listening to vinyl, really moved by music. And then we meet O'Shea Jackson, aka Ice Cube, and we meet him on the school bus. One of the deep driving forces behind NWA is his original poetry. And they get the idea that they're going to do a group together, so they hire 3 people to be the talent. And they're like laughing at their lyrics. They're like, who would say this? And they're like, get the fuck out. Like, they literally almost like end up having like a gang. Like they're gonna like take each other on over it.
Yeah.
And they're like, so they leave and they don't have any talent. It's just them. There's like moments when you're laughing. There are moments when you're crying.
I myself did not get to see this film. I'm like one of you guys. I'm an audience member listening to this review tonight. Give me some examples of some moments that made you cry.
There were 2 moments that made me cry in the movie. I cried at the recreation of the Rodney King riots. I lived through that stuff. I was living here in LA and I lived through it.
It was a dramatic time to be alive.
There was a second moment where I cried. Dr. Dre, he loses his little brother.
I think of that as sort of the situation that all these kids are going through is they're using sort of rap as their way to get out of the ghetto.
If you've ever seen the movie The Doors, and when they reenact the whole problem where Jim Morrison is going to be arrested because he pulls his penis out on stage. Well, there's a great scene in Detroit, and the police give them a really big speech that if they sing their famous song, "Fuck the police," they will be arrested. And so they sing the song and they leave those lyrics out. And they stop and they look at each other and they're like, they sing the song again. And they sing "fuck the police" like very blatantly. And the crowd just erupts. The crowd is on their side.
Uproariously, like in this sort of thunder of like, we support you.
And then the police come in with their badges. There's a gunshot and everybody runs. And NWA runs out the back way, and of course there's a whole line of police waiting for them. And they're all like batoned to the ground and arrested and put in the back of a paddy wagon and taken away. For singing.
That must come up a lot in the film.
One of the really fascinating things about if you never got to see NWA in concert in the 80s, go see the movie and you can leave and say, I saw NWA in concert in the 80s. The concert scenes are so well done.
It feels like you're really there.
At the Q&A afterwards, Ice Cube said the same thing. He said when they finished filming that scene, he's like, now I know what it's like to go to an NWA concert.
Yeah. Yourself in this sort of 3-dimensional, like out-of-the-box sort of experience.
And he had like an even more surreal experience because he was a producer on the project. Dre was a producer on the project as well. O'Shea Jackson Jr. playing the role of Ice Cube, playing his own father. That must be trippy. Do you think that would you want to play your father in the
those
movie?
are some big shoes to fill. Right?
And there are these like emotions painted on his face that are just well done. Like there's a scene where he's getting screwed over. He's not gonna take it anymore. He comes into the office with a baseball bat. I'll tell you what, I would not want to be that guy.
Does he get the crappy out of him or something?
No.
How's the scene go?
Baseball. If you like baseball bats and breaking glass, you will love this scene. EazyE's widow was consulted. The movie goes all the way to the point where he does die from AIDS. And the scene where Snoop Dogg and Dr. J, you know the song California, knows how to party.
Yeah.
They do not go into the Biggie, Tupac stuff. East Coast, West Coast are hinted at.
You were wondering about that, right? If they were going to even mention, like, this fate of what happens to Biggie Smalls down the line.
Suge Knight, he comes off kind of like the bad guy. Dre has finally agreed, and Cube has agreed, and they're reconciling, and they're about to do another album together, and EazyE passes out. Like they
literally faints
like backwards into this keyboard, and the sound. They did such a great like job with the sound. Like the sound for of his head hitting the thing.
What, like a drug overdose or what?
No, he's just a little bit tired, and then when they get to the hospital, he finds out that he has AIDS.
A lot of groupies and girls.
There are like a couple montages. There's one
montages of like crazy orgies.
One full-on scene where there's a crazy guy who comes looking for his girlfriend.
I wouldn't necessarily call that a perception of like this is what the rap industry is, because I mean it's like you get that same feeling of like you're watching a movie like Wolf of Wall Street or watching a movie like this Social Network, like this whole sort of weird like party lifestyle that exists with these young people who are on the fast track to like fame and fortune. It just becomes, you know what I mean?
Paul Giamatti is in this movie. He plays Jerry, who's their manager for a long time. I mean, there's a buzz around Hollywood already that the actor who plays EazyE is a shoo-in for Best Supporting Actor at this coming Oscars.
Did he really do that well?
He did really well. Well, at the Q&A, they were talking about how they had 3 sets of actors, and Ice Cube's son was not a shoo-in. They actually had 3 other potential Cubes.
Okay, you're my son. You get the role no matter what.
Even though Ice Cube was,
he had to prove himself.
He had to prove himself. Yeah.
There's just a fiery passion that needs to be exerted.
Right. There's like an anger, that anger tone of rap. Like I'm so angry, but when fuck the police.
Yeah, angry at society, angry at the man, angry at authority.
He actually was very talented, a vocalist. Being the MC on the mic and like spitting the rhymes that the others were writing. And Dre was the guy who was really creating their beats, and Cube was really the guy who was writing their rhymes. If he didn't have AIDS and he doesn't, what that album that would have come out would have been about. That's what we all as a collective miss out on because of it,
Yeah.
Amish Buddha Filmwork.